Good morning. Always nice to begin the show with you here on 3+You. I do hope your day is off to a good start and that you're warm as you're watching us this morning. We're going to open with Charlotte Mabry of the Charlotte Mabry team, a realtor in town for so many years, very trusted. And this morning she is coming on wanting to talk a little bit about the market in general, but also to kind of give people some reassurance to say, don't totally put your life aside because of what's happening in California with the bank.
That is so very true. We can sometimes really overreact and think the sky is falling when in reality all that happened was a cloud flew over. And yes, it is a difficult time for those involved with that bank, but you have to remember that real estate in particular is local and it impacts us locally. And so while things are different in the market today, they're not as quick and crazy and houses aren't bidding up way over asking price. But guess what? We're back to being what's called normal.
Right.
And there's something to be said about being normal.
We don't, very much so,
Right.
Normal is good. We don't tend to be, as a society, I think, long-range thinkers. I think we kind of live in the moment. So I'm going to take just an average perhaps example. So if people are watching what happened at the bank out in California and they're thinking, uh-oh, what if that happens for me here?
Right.
In Chattanooga, I'm afraid to have the commitment of a mortgage,
Sure.
so I'm going to pull back and not buy the house. Well, that's the moment. But they're not thinking, I guess, that they're still going to have a place to live.
Right.
And a mortgage, they control the payment. If they're renting, somebody else controls their payment.
No question. And I think if you look ahead today and statistically, yes, houses are staying on the market a little bit longer, but if you are that renter looking to buy, you now have an opportunity to buy something without being forced to compete with so many people. Now that said, we still do have some multiple offers. That's still happening here. Our market is still fairly strong. But for the most part, you don't have to deal with that. And you have the opportunity to buy right now. The interest rates are a little higher, but you just buy a little bit less price on a house. And if you shop wisely and make a great offer, many times we're seeing people be able to buy more house today because sellers are more motivated.
I know you like to kind of educate people, so that's one of the reasons you come here. I think you brought some kind of slides with you because it can be helpful to see.
Right.
So it looks like that inventory of homes, is it still going down?
It's going down. It's going down. And so about the end of last year, we hit about 2,200 homes for sale. As of yesterday, there were a little over 1,300 homes for sale in our Chattanooga MLS. And we've been as high as 4,000, so we're still low on inventory. And if you look at month supply, it's about a month or so. If not another new house came on the market, in a month and a half, everything would be gone based on the pace of the market right now.
Okay, so when you were talking about the interest rates being a little bit higher, well, does the days on the market, is that really an important number to know?
It is a great number to know if you're a seller. Number one, don't panic if your house doesn't sell in 3 minutes. That's what the market used to be like. Today, it's going to take 30 days or so to sell, and that's normal. That is a very normal market. And so people need to understand we've come out of an abnormal market into something that's normal, but it's going to feel different because it takes longer.
Can I dovetail then from that days on the market into something that y'all do there with Charlotte Mabry? Because you have a guarantee, or you'll buy people's homes.
Correct.
You, though, kind of have a little bit of a different spin on it because you encourage people to put their house on the market first. Why?
Absolutely. Well, it's to their best benefit to try to get the most money that they can. Yes, putting a house on the market and selling a home can be a little stressful. There are a lot of things to do and all of that. But when you're talking about probably the biggest financial purchase or sale that you'll ever make, it's important to have that money there. And so we want to give people an opportunity to try to get the most money. If you just take a guaranteed offer on your home, you just sell your home to that person who comes along and buys it, period, and you're done. And that's great. You're out of the game and you're done. but you never got a chance to try the market to see if you could sell for more and perhaps put more in your pocket. And I will guarantee you, you will put more in your pocket by putting it on the open market, because potentially you'll have multiple offers. So what we allow people to do is put your home on the market. Let's test the market, and if we can't sell your home at a price and a time frame that you like and want to do and that we've agreed to, then I will buy it. So you get the best of both worlds that way.
Okay, so I was going to ask you a minute ago about the interest rates. You were talking about it, since they are going up, perhaps you want to buy a house that's a little bit of a lower price. And I guess it just comes back to knowing your client and in advising them case by case.
Absolutely.
But if you're looking, let's just pretend that you can go as high as $350,000 in a purchase price, and the house that you really like is $365,000, just pretend, and you qualify for that money.
Right.
If you buy the house that you really like, if you can afford it, and then you can just refinance later, is that ever advisable?
You could absolutely do that. I think one of the fear is we assume interest rates will go back down.
Yeah.
But what if they don't? So you make your decisions, you make your money on the front end of something. So I would advise buying what you're comfortable with now. And if it does go down, that's great. Later on, you can refinance. But I would say don't buy more house than you could or should right now.
Right.
And that $365,000 house, I probably would advise my client right now, if they're the buyer, to offer $350,000, because there's the potential for getting it at $350,000 right now, where that didn't exist before.
You know, it's funny how the world has changed. I remember when we bought our first house, we lived in Indiana many years ago, and I'll never forget, we made an offer on a house for $160,000, and I couldn't sleep. I was scared out of my mind, and we forfeited. I just said, y'all keep the earnest money. I didn't want to be responsible for it, and we bought one for about $40,000 less. But that's really, I think the world worked that way. It seems like sometimes your philosophy is not always the common philosophy.
Well, I'm old, that's part of it, and I've been around when houses were $160,000, right? But I think you have to be money wise, and buying a home should not be an emotional purchase. But it is. I mean, again, we live in the moment, like you said, and people go, I love that, I want that, let's buy it right now, without thinking through the financials of that.
Right.
And ultimately, being house poor is no fun.
No. And everyone probably has done it at one point in their life.
We all have. I mean, I'm preaching to my own choir here, because I've done that as well on many fronts, not just housing, of monies that we've spent. But that being said, for an investment, with probably going to be something that'll be your largest thing you spend money on in your lifetime, don't do that flippantly, and be sure you're working with someone who is not just looking to sell you something, but they're looking for a long-term relationship to be sure they've done the best service they can for your financial well-being and for your family.
And I guess maybe, again, depending on the client, but if it's a younger couple buying or what have you, if it's kind of your first rodeo, that life does change. There's no way to predict how it's going to change.
Yes.
So make sure that whatever you're doing is something you can maintain.
Absolutely.
On your
To
own.
me, the smartest thing if you're a first-time home buyer is not to buy a home. And I think we've talked about this before, is to buy a duplex. Live in a duplex, buy that as an investment, live in one side, rent out the other side. That either covers your payment or helps you make your payment. Live there for a few years, then buy your first home, but keep your duplex. That way you're an investor right off the bat, you have income coming in. That's a smart way to get started. No one ever shared that with me when I was back in the dark ages when I was young, to start that way. That is such a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, your tip from Charlotte Mabry. Plus know that, yes, pay attention to the banking industry. Certainly think about those folks out there in California, but our banks here are strong, and don't put your life on pause because of something happening across the country. You can get in touch with her at the Charlotte Mabry team on North Access Road, 593-5588. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, they would love to help you. Thank you.